Nothing says don't be insecure like product placing your brand in every frame of the movie. This is Ralph Breaks Internet Spoilers. Don't be insecure, guys. Hey, it's Star Wars. Don't be insecure, though.
Don't be insecure.
I'm your host, Pappy. We're going to make this a quick one tonight, a new podcast about the latest Disney animated film, Wreck-It Ralph. Joining me today, almost as always, my best friend, my good friend, man who I love to talk Disney with more than any other human in the world, Stevie. How you doing, Stevie?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Not too bad. And you have a big announcement. This is huge spoilers news. Huge breaking news.
Yes, so let's throw this out there. You and I have started our own project. We'll still be on spoilers, but we've started our own project talking about the history of Disney. And it is called Please Stand Clear of the Doors.
It's a great name. I love that name.
Yes, it is. I'm so excited to share it with the world.
It's a lot different than spoilers. It's more of like a one season type deal covering the golden age of Disney. We try to like focus on different topics and tell the story of Disney. It's really cool, but it's a lot of work. It's not.
They're like 2 hours a piece. It's a lot of info.
We read books for it. But sitting very patiently and quietly and waiting to be introduced. I'm a very rude host. We have first timer on spoilers, Instagram friend, Pixie Bomber / Renee. How's it going, Renee?
I'm good. I have my unicorn onesie on, and I'm ready.
I saw. Yeah, you came ready to go on the video. Me and Steve were like overwhelmed. Like, oh, was not ready to go. I was like in my PJs. But yeah. So how did this come about? I forget. Like, did we ask you, or we kind of just have been Instagram friends? Is that the deal?
No, you guys found an article I wrote through Nerdy Scoop that did not have spoilers, and you guys posted, "Where are the spoilers?" And I said, "Hey, I'm the author, and I chose not to do spoilers on this article, but I'm going to be writing an article on, I think it was Hocus Pocus."
Oh,
and I said, I will have spoilers amuck on this article. And then that ensued all sorts of weirdness, insanity, and so forth.
A movie that deserves spoilers, Hocus Pocus.
Oh.
If you haven't seen it at this point, what are you doing with your life?
I don't know who hasn't seen it, because it was shown like 23 times on Freeform over the course of October.
Is that ABC Family? Is that what that used to be?
What was ABC Family is now Freeform.
It was, and I did write that in my article.
Well, so what was the website again? Just one more time so our listeners can check it out.
It was Nerdy Scoop.
Nerdyscoop.com, right?
It was.
Okay.
I did, my recent article was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes, I have to check that out.
For the first time, and after I wrote it, I did I listened to your guys' spoilers.
Oh,
and
we were so drunk for that.
I did. There were times where I'm like, how do we... My thought process and your guys' thought process were like very similar on many things.
Oh, really? That's funny. I thought you were going to go the opposite way. I think it'd be like, how can we do a podcast together? Because they were so different.
It was creepy.
I like that. Yeah, it's a good movie. Not a great podcast. But the funny thing is like, yeah, Stevie and I have hung out the night before Thanksgiving, was like 5 years in a row now.
I think this was our 7th year.
And this is what we chose to do on that party night, was to go watch a Disney movie together. But it was a lot of fun. I know, Stevie, you might not remember parts of the movie. Is that fair to say?
Well, yeah. We had a few beers here and there, and maybe a few drinks before the actual viewing of the movie. But yeah, there's some parts that could be like refreshed on. I did not take notes.
That's what I have notes. Two-thirds of us came prepared to podcast today. But
I had a beer while watching Ralph Breaks the Internet because my theater allowed us to bring beers into our viewing.
Nice. What kind of beer?
I had a cider.
Ooh. Strongbow?
It was a rosé Anchor. I don't know. Angry Orchard rosé was one I haven't tried before.
Almost as fancy as what Stevie had in our theater, which had like a full bar, basically. You had, what was it called? A Pineapple Express?
It was called a Pineapple Express. There was a lot of rum.
Do you remember what was in it?
Like a Malibu rum, Captain rum, Fort Myers. Not Myers. It was just like Myers dark rum. And I think like a spritz of OJ.
You had everything on the counter, basically.
Pretty much. And for our listeners who are wondering, Pappy put 4 Modelo's in his heavy jacket and walked in the theater. That's what he had.
Yeah, I wasn't going to share that, but but that may or may not have happened. But yeah, so Stevie, let's refresh your memory on Ralph Breaks the Internet.
All right, let's get you plugged in. Wi-Fi, or is it wifey?
Why don't we just go in?
And we are online. Whoa, cool.
Ralph, isn't that great? We are going to the internet!
Super excited. Just one minor thing. What is the internet? Oh, holy cow. Look at all this stuff.
Congratulations, you're a winner!
Really?
These 10 child stars went to prison. Number 6 will amaze you.
That sounds interesting.
Ralph, come on!
Redirecting to eBay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next item up, a black velvet painting of a sorrowful kitten.
It's like it's looking into my soul.
Yeah, that one's really gonna haunt me for a while.
Whoa, games.
Pancake. Milkshake.
Out of my way, kids.
Pancake. Milkshake. Milkshake. I'm starting to understand why people like this game. Very zen. Milkshake.
Hey, look what I found! More pancakes!
Let's speed it up. Pancake, 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 pancake. Eat, little buddy. Eat.
Ralph, you might want to try feeding the kitty for a little while.
No, the kitty gets the milkshake. The bunny gets the pancake.
It's, I don't know. Renee, you like this movie, right?
I liked it. It does not hold as strongly as the first one, but the Disney nerd in me liked it.
Yeah, Stevie's a big Disney nerd. He started a whole separate Disney podcast, and I'm more skeptical of Disney. I view them as like an evil empire who must
You
be
ranked
defeated.
it lower than me on Letterboxd.
I rated it 2 stars out of 5. I went back and lowered it even more upon reflection. So, but
I thought you gave it a 3.
let's get into it. Our protagonist, Vanellope, played by the incomparable Sarah Silverman, her game breaks, and it's pretty much Ralph's fault that the game breaks. And because the part is very expensive, they have to shut down the game.
Oh, well, let's back up.
Okay.
He wanted to please her. He wanted to help her because of friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the name of friendship.
This whole movie is in the name of friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But almost too much friendship. Ralph is a little too
We'll get
clingy.
into that later.
Yeah. So there's this surge of characters from, what's it called, Sugar Rush, who enter the Wreck-It Ralph sort of world, and those characters are adopted. And I think this is one part of the movie I wish there was more of, is Fix-It Felix and Calhoun. They're so great in the first movie. They kind of like disappear for a while in this one. I don't know what you guys thought.
But they come back with when they are back though.
That just leaves the racers.
We're like adorable.
You sure are. So, any takers? Anyone?
Felix, I know we've never once talked about having a family before, but
I know. It feels like the kind of thing you just jump into with both feet and nary a plan.
Felix and I will give them sanctuary.
Put on your church shoes. Stevie, I know you love that line.
Let's churn some butter.
They jump into...
They're going to the internet.
Yeah, they jump into the internet, and Pixie Bomber...
No, they bubble. They bubble in the internet. I wish Disney would make a ride, as we were in that scene. Oh, I want Disney to make a ride where we can actually go inside those little bubbles, and we can actually ride in the internet from Wreck-It Ralph 2.
That would be pretty awesome. And if you have to enter through like a 1996 desktop Mac monitor, that would be even cooler, like in the movie. But yeah, how would you describe the world of the internet, Pixie Bomber Renee? What's it like in this world?
Like, could we enter it?
Yeah, I mean, like the general setup. Like, what's it? I kind of wrote down. It looks like a mall, or like a city with like the different websites or storefronts.
It's to some people it could be an overwhelming sensation, but it is a visual wonderland of everything. So there are skyscrapers of Pinterest, skyscrapers of Google, and with Twitter they have the little birds which are tweeting away. Oh, that is pure delight.
They have a whole tower of goggles.
Goggles.
And there's an important seed that's planted here as well. A cross mashup of BuzzFeed and YouTube called BuzzzTube, and this will play a critical role in the film later on. One of my favorite parts though is when they're entering the internet and they approach the search bar. Is Alan Tudyk plays Know-It-All.
Oh, I'm glad you brought him up. Yes.
I love him. He's the best.
He was King Candy.
Yes, that's the thing I had. He was perfect. I'm glad you guys caught that.
And he was the chicken in Moana, which is pretty fun.
There you go.
Sure, someone out here could give us directions. Oh, look at that little egg guy. He's got on one of those hats that smart people wear. I bet he could help us. Come on.
Oh, hello, sir. Interesting. You don't seem to have a search history. Well, let's start one for you. What can Knows More help you find today? Umbrella, umbrage, umami?
No.
Noah's Ark, no doubt. Nordstrom Rack, ergonomics, urban outfitters, cool.
Looks like no one put Humpty Dumpty together again. This guy's a little soft-boiled.
I'm pretty sure he's just trying to guess what you're gonna say.
Yes, I'm sorry, but my autofill is a touch aggressive today.
Let me try. eBay Sugar Rush steering wheel.
Oh, I only found one result for your query. Isn't that interesting?
What? How did you...
The internet's very intuitive. Thank you, Mr. Knows More.
Well, you're welcome.
But he's always trying to finish the sentences like a search engine will do. Like try to guess what you're going to say. It's a pretty great little bit. I liked it.
It's kind of the Ask Jeeves parody is kind of what they're reaching at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As the Knows More.
I could see that. He's got the glasses and he's kind of standoffish though, too, a little bit. But I'm glad that you brought up that when you enter the world of the internet, it's like a very it's really beautiful, and it reminds me a lot of Coco in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of parallels to Coco, especially in that we talked about this on the Coco episode. They know that they want to spend a lot of time. They know that they want to spend a lot of time in the cool place, so they basically have to give like a couple different side missions to fill up the time. And in Coco, it was like you have to get a oh my god, you have to get a guitar to like go in the band. And this, it was more of a you have to get money to get to eBay to buy the wheel to fix the game. Do I have that right, Stevie, as far as you remember?
That was right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
When they rack up a giant eBay tab or eBoy tab and they can't pay for it, they have to go to Plan B.
What's your credit card number? 7?
7.
That's ridiculous. It's 11.
11?
So they meet, and we're just, if there's anything I should slow down to, just let me know. We just flying through the plot, but they meet a pop-up, which, Stevie, I don't know if you remember the pop-up. He reminds me of like a 1950s.
Back up.
Okay.
Did you guys notice the pop-up for the Sousy housewives you want to meet?
No, I didn't. I missed it.
So the sassy housewives that want to meet you references the aunt from Big Hero 6, which some people may or may not think is kind of sexy.
Stevie?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not realize that was the reference. That's cool.
Do you find it sexy, Stevie?
I think some people think she's sexy.
Well, it's Stevie's,
I mean, she's good looking, yeah. I'm not going to lie.
But that was the reference. So Disney understands that some people think she's sexy, so they put put her back in. So Disney's very self-aware at this point.
Is the most self-aware movie I've ever seen, too. Almost.
But that's in the whole pop-up scene going on right there.
Yeah, exactly. And the pop-up guy, he's like this kind of seedy, selling you a watch out of his coat pocket type.
It's Bill Hader, right?
Is it? I think
it's Bill Hader, yeah.
I didn't pull his name. I pulled a couple other names, but not his.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is an all-star cast too. We should mention. There's a lot of really great voice talent, but basically he turns them on to where. Speaking of a lot of talent, Gal Gadot is running a death race, a slaughter race.
She looks like her character too.
Mm-hmm. Stevie, what do you remember about the slaughter race? How would you describe the slaughter race to someone who hadn't played that game before?
Like if Mad Max were in a functioning city. That's like the best way I would describe it.
Like a post-apocalyptic.
I mean,
racer.
it's like Bizarro Vanellope's game of Sugar Rush. I mean, just take everything opposite, and then you have Slaughter Race. Yes, and Bill Hader did play J.P. Spamley.
Nice, J.P.
And Ralph
Spamley.
Breaks the Internet. J.P. Spamley. Yep, that was him.
Oh, good. Okay.
Really? Want to get rich playing video games?
But this is like Vanellope's dream too, because I think it's like she gets to be like an AI unit rather than being controlled by a player. So it's like a lot more fun for her to race in this environment. And she found her game, but
she doesn't have to fight against. Whereas in the beginning, she was fighting against the person, which caused the game to break. Whereas this one, she's the AI, which I think is more fun for her.
Which I love too, which implies that like whenever a child is playing that game, they're not actually doing anything. They're just like kind of turning the wheel and it's all her making the decisions. Unless she goes totally AWOL, they would never know the difference. I did the same thing to my little sister. I would unplug a Super Nintendo controller and I would play. I would tell her she's doing a great job.
God.
That was a long time ago though.
Slaughter race. It is wicked dangerous. Oh, yep, I'm out of that cold. It was a one, but it was an old.
Well. Who are you?
I think we should get out of here.
Yeah, enter Gal Gadot, and another funny part of this movie is Ralph is like, okay, I'll go talk to her. He's acting all tough, and he gets over to her. He just starts like weeping in her face, like telling her of his plight. And her offer to help is to take a funny video and upload it to BuzzzTube. And to say that this went super viral would be an understatement.
I mean, that was like a whole part of the movie, wasn't it? He was just making video after video after video.
Well, she launched the idea to help him make money.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so they can get Vanellope's part.
To get hearts, to get money. And guiding them through this is the head algorithm, played by Taraji P. Henson, she's awesome and hilarious.
Is the leaf blower guy?
Who?
The man with the undulating jowls.
So?
His video has 1.3 million watts.
Well, why didn't you tell me I was in the presence of a genius? Grab him a drink.
Yeah, this lady named Shank, she actually made the video. She's the one who told us to come see you.
No wonder your video's so dope. Shank is for real cool.
Right?
She is not. I'm the cool one getting all the hearts.
Well, that's right, you big baby. What'd you say your name was?
Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph.
Well, Wreck-It Ralph, you are trending, and these are for you. Heart. Heart, 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 heart,
heart. So then what happens next? I'm trying to see.
That's where their storyline split.
Yeah, Vanellope wants to go be a pop-up to help spread the word of Ralph, and she ends up in ohmydisney.com and okay, I know you like this, so I'm just going to hand the ball off to you. Do you want to kind of talk about this scene?
Do you feel my excitement?
I felt it over Skype.
Okay. Ooh, oh my Disney. Okay. So let's just pause for the umbrella of Disney and how it's a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
So Disney has, they bought everything. They have I have stock in Disney, so I have a bias in their monopoly.
I do too. I don't like it.
I'm okay with their monopoly because I financially benefit from their monopoly. But but they have tactfully shown all of their, with Star Wars, with Marvel, with the video game characters, they have tactfully shown their monopoly without flaunting it in a way. As they went into Oh My Disney, just take a pause a moment. I cried when they showed.
What part? Sorry.
I broke down and I cried when I saw Stanley in there because, like, tears. I was done. Oh, I was over it. Like, I lost it with his avatar. But then, but there was also like, this could be your princess. I have taken those quizzes on who would be my best friend princess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no shame. I take all of them. I am a sucker for like who would be, who fits your personality. I have taken I was in denial for.
Do you have a princess you usually get? Are you usually assigned one more than any other?
No.
Oh.
I'm all over the map. Oh. But I have taken, are you a Sith or are you a Jedi so many times because I was in denial that I was a Sith for a while. I fully embrace that I am a Sith. I am a red lightsaber person.
I like it.
I admit it. It's now out in the public. And so when they had like the stormtroopers in there, I was like, yes. Because then she gets caught because she was a fake pop-up.
Mm-hmm.
She was unauthorized.
Unauthorized, yeah.
Oh, I laughed so hard. And then like her way of, she's like, oh, princesses. And she went in the little door. And I was like, oh, this is the scene I've been waiting for. The best part about the princesses, I immediately recognized all the voices because all of the princesses were played by their original voice actresses. Of course, Cinderella had to be replayed by a new voice because that actress is no longer with us.
Snow White as well, I think, had to.
I can't imagine Snow White still kicking.
I don't remember who played her.
Hi. Whoa, ladies, I'm a princess too.
What kind of a princess are you?
Do you have magic hair?
No.
Magic hands?
No.
Do animals talk to you?
No.
Were you poisoned?
No.
Cursed?
No.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
No. Are you guys okay? Should I call the police?
Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big, strong man showed up?
Yes. What is up with that?
She is a princess.
I mean, Paige O'Hara came back. I mean, the voice actresses all came back, which was delightful. But then each princess, I mean, they were going off on the sexist tropes, and each one was independent on their each person. You see Pocahontas and her hair blows in the wind, even though she's indoors. How does that happen? I don't know. It's Disney. No actors, right? And then Mulan does like this kick in the air trying to attack Vanellope, which does like this whole nod to I'll make a man out of you,
mm-hmm.
which kind of made my heart a little happy there. And then you see Ariel, she's like combing her hair with like the dingle hopper. What was with Cinderella and breaking the last slipper?
Oh, she was like ready to shank someone with it right away.
And like Cinderella has never shown like any malice towards anybody and never any anger at all.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like
she's ready to go.
She's a princess now. She's got to defend her throne.
Huh.
But her stepsisters kind of deserved it and her stepmother deserved it, but yet nothing. And suddenly Vanellope, yeah. But Cinderella's question is, do you talk to animals? And I want to ask if she was cursed because they were cursed. Snow White asks if she was poisoned as she's holding up like the poisoned apple.
Yeah. Wait, poisoned? And like Vanellope's reaction to that one's like, oh my god, no, what is wrong with you guys?
Now she's starting to like catch on, like there's something weird happening here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rapunzel and Belle ask if she was kidnapped or enslaved. Ariel asks her if she made a deal with a sea witch. Snow White asks if it was true love's kiss. And then Jasmine asks if there was daddy issues.
Yeah. And she says, I don't have a dad, or wait, no, she says I don't have a mom or something. And they go, neither do we. All of them.
Which goes right back to Disney and the whole dead parent thing going on.
Yeah, and I'm glad, as I move my microphone, I'm glad that you like it, and I'm honestly glad that it makes you happy. Here's my whole thing with it is Disney's been becoming more self-aware slowly over the past decade, and to me the tongue-in-cheekness gets only cute so far, and then like you're saying, like when they literally basically have a monopoly on movies to kind of like rub it in your face, like ending that scene with C-3PO, that I don't know, that didn't really work.
You skipped something.
What did I skip? What was
Rapunzel, who is my favorite. Rapunzel asking, do people assume all of your problems got solved because a big strong man showed up?
And she's like, yes,
which is the best line. Because what is Ralph?
The big strong man. Yeah. Which, okay, Disney's, acknowledging their tropes, but they're also doing it in a way where they're also like, we're so awesome at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not, I don't know, there's other issues with movies like Pocahontas that extend beyond the male gaze or classical tropes. I mean, there's deep racial things, and to just kind of wink and nod that away, I think is a little bit disingenuous on their part.
What is great about this film is finally the female characters are equal to that of their male counterparts. So Ralph is on his own thing, Vanellope's on her own thing, but their screen time is that of equal. Mm-hmm. And then you add Shanken, which is another strong female who is encouraging and strengthening Vanellope. Like, here, what do you want to do? And she's encouraging her to be strong in herself for what she's capable of doing without needing a big, strong man to do what she needs to do.
Yeah.
I mean, finally, Disney's breaking away from it through this film.
And that's a great point. And I think that along with this self-awareness has come a better portrayal of these characters. Like, Stevie, I think it goes all the way back to, is Frozen maybe the first example of this, when they subverted kind of the princess waiting for Prince Charming kind of. I mean, it extends on beyond that, but I think that might be the first
they slap
time.
it in the face.
Yeah. I mean, totally.
Frozen is definitely the first to kind of slap it away. So, yeah.
Well, in Tangled, Rapunzel did save the man.
That's a good point.
Let's roll it backwards.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's really...
Tangled is better than Frozen.
Yeah. Ooh. Stevie, do you agree?
Hot take.
I'd agree.
I think we're all in agreement.
I would say this. Frozen just has a better soundtrack.
Fair enough.
Okay, let's go back to the movie.
Yeah, good point.
Instead of us fighting.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
I will fight you any day.
It's a huge part of the movie. I looked at it. It's a 4-minute scene, like a full minutes, and they don't cut away
for this segment
from the bedroom of the princesses, or the princess room, or whatever it is. Yeah,
it's like their holding cell.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I wish too, sorry to go back here, I wish they wouldn't have shown that in the trailers. And I know I try to avoid trailers at all costs, but like I saw a lot of those jokes. I think I saw like the ones where they're asking the questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But oh well.
Yeah, they showed it at D23, I think, to build the hype. Mm-hmm. And that's where they were trying to get people really excited about it and trying to get people promoted. I have a group of friends that showed up with all of the princesses to an actual like opening night here in the Seattle area. And like all of them sat together in their princess clothing, and there were photos, and it was a huge thing because of that scene. And I don't think that would have been possible without that trailer.
That's a good point. And it did build a lot of hype for the movie. And yeah, I think if they would have blindsided you with the princesses, maybe I wouldn't have been quite as ready for it. But we do got to hurry this up a little bit. So then this is kind of like, we're at the 70-minute mark of the film, and Ralph has now made enough money.
Can we talk about Brave?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yes, go ahead.
She's from the other studio.
That was funny.
Is she the only Pixar princess?
She is.
Pixar princess? Okay.
Yeah, she is. She's the only Pixar one, which is why we don't understand her.
Yeah, they do show a little bit of Buzz Lightyear in Oh My Disney as but he's like an attraction that the internet people are looking at. Yeah. But yeah, so this is like where again, like I think that I don't know if this movie has the strongest story because now we have to sort of add a conflict very late in the film, and that's that Ralph has made enough money to go back, but he overhears a conversation between Vanellope and Shank that she, she's found her place here, and then she just kind of doesn't want to go back. And Ralph is kind of feeling possessive. I guess he's being too controlling of a friend, and he really takes it too far. And he gets a virus, and he puts
to kill a game.
An insecurity.
Well, this is where
virus.
his insecurities of the friendship, and it kind of makes it undercut the friendship, I think, in the film, and it makes it not healthy part of the film. It's
to me this whole part, because the insecurity virus, what it essentially does, I guess it like scans you and then like replicates your insecurity out, like kind of cloning it. So like it initially goes into the race and kind of messes with Vanellope when she's trying to do like a race with Gal Gadot, projecting kind of some of her insecurities. But then it sees Ralph and makes all these clones of Ralph who are like friend. And I there's something about that makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't know why. I'm not saying it's like wrong in any way, but it's just I didn't like it.
And then when he grew to like be Ralph size of Ralph, but with multiple Ralphs. So I saw
Borg Ralph, giant hive mind Ralph.
Giant Ralph. Yeah. Did you guys see the Nutcracker in the Four Realms?
I did not.
No.
By Disney. So I went to the screening of that, and it reminded me of the Rat King, which was also by Disney. So it was a very similar animation style where they use multiple rats to create the Rat King. Oh, it was so creepy. Because there was multiple rats. So they're using a similar animation style to create hundreds and hundreds of rats to create the Rat King. And here they're using hundreds and hundreds of Ralphs to create a giant Ralph. And so Disney's using a similar style for both elements of film to execute it. But it's two totally separate, one CGI and one is animation. Yeah. And so I thought it was interesting that I seen both films and executed in different styles to create a similar effect.
And I think it looks pretty good.
It looks incredible for Ralph. It was just unsettling to look at. It was unsettling, but it was really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
Yeah, so Ralph, let's see. So yeah, he's giant Ralph. Then the way that the conflict is kind of wrapped up is that giant Ralph has Ralph in one hand and Vanellope in the other, and Ralph kind of addresses her.
You're not going to address the Pinterest pin used as a weapon?
Oh, go ahead. I didn't want to. When is that?
That's right in this moment where like Ralph is so Pinterest is one of the websites they go into. Because they crashed into it, and he's using like the pin from Pinterest as a weapon to try to beat up himself and like the virus.
It's pretty great.
Which, as an avid Pinterest user, I was laughing my butt off because, well, I use Pinterest a lot.
Yeah. Mostly
to make my costumes and get ideas for costumes, that of Disney costumes. Yeah, it was hysterical.
It is a very 21st century movie. Like even like when Ralph's going viral, like showing the people in like modern meeting conference rooms watching a video. Like I've done that before at work. We've been in a conference room and someone pulls up a video. Like it's I don't know. I did appreciate that. So just to wrap up. So Ralph addresses his insecurities, and he essentially says that you can't control your friend, that you shouldn't hold your friend back from achieving her dreams, and that causes all the Ralphs to disappear.
It wasn't too preachy or too cheesy either. Like Disney really handled it well, which is good that children were able to see it and be able to understand it in a good way.
It's a very adult message, more adult. You know what I mean? Like it's a very...
I got the feels from it. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
it was. Disney handled it well.
And then I know, I don't know if anything is too noteworthy here at the end. Yeah, things kind of just go back to normal. Now they're now in a long distance friendship. Vanellope's on the internet. Ralph's back in his game. But I know you want to talk about the post-credit scenes. I had to run to the bathroom as soon as the movie ended because I refused to go to the bathroom in the movie. I haven't done it since Bug's Life, but that was literally the closest I've come in my life.
I have
since
a child-sized bladder, and I can manage to do it with adult beverage in me.
I have I have an infant-sized bladder, and I don't have any control over it. And it's a ticking time bomb. So, do you want to? What were the post-credit scenes? Because these are always
there
fun
were
to
two
talk
of
about.
them. So the first one was the trope is Pop Goes the Human, and it's basically the setup is this little child's playing the game, and the idea is what you saw something in the trailer and you didn't see it in the movie.
That is pretty
and then
good.
They really handed it to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly, it's the idea of the child is literally playing the game, and Ralph is in the game, and you either send the milkshake to one, or you send the pancakes to the bunny,
milkshake,
and the milkshake to the kitty.
Milkshake,
and
pancake.
The child is playing the game. Well, the challenge is Vanellope comes in with a cartload of pancakes, and Ralph is very literal, and you can only send it to the bunny. And Vanellope's like, but no, what about? And he's like, no, and he just keeps sending it to the kitty, to the bunny, to the bunny, to the bunny. She's like, no, send it to the kitty. He's like, no, and the poor look on the bunny's face. Oh,
pure agony.
Oh yeah, it was so sad. And it's Pop Goes the Bunny.
And apparently it's supposed to be like some kind of Moana tie-in with the girl who's playing the game too. Like it's the same voice as baby Moana or something. Someone was telling me. I wish I had that in front of me.
They cut back to the little child in the car. The child's in agony because the child saw the bunny go pop.
Yeah.
You don't see the bunny go pop.
Oh. Was there a second post-credit scene too, or is that?
There was.
What was the second one? Because I think we definitely left. I don't think
Stevie,
we saw this one.
do you want to take that one?
Okay, so I'm with Pappy. I ran straight to the bathroom.
Yeah, we didn't see
Really?
it.
Both of you?
Yeah, this is all
I had
you.
to go.
Please leave me hanging here.
Well,
you men.
I know.
Men are useless. This is why you guys need a woman on the podcast.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I want to mention that when I brought up, do you want to be on the record, Ralph? And you're like, because I'm a girl? It's like, no, because I fucking love Disney. Not because you're a girl.
I said something else. I did not say because I was a girl.
Oh.
I think I said because I have boobs.
Oh, that may have been what you said.
Okay, there you go.
But, what was the second post-credit scene?
Was Rickrolled.
It was
the second
a
one
Rickroll?
It was a Rickroll. Oh, yeah.
Great.
Oh, it was perfect. Because earlier in the film, Ralph was doing all the YouTube videos, and he was doing all those BuzzTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second one, you were expecting something, right? You're hoping for something. And then we all got Rickrolled.
That's
and he started singing the song.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna hurt you.
Yeah. And then just, hey, you can leave now. You can go. You can go. Oh, I was laughing so hard.
That's pretty good. And we got to run to another podcast. We're actually recording Hunt for the Wilder People tonight, and the guys are messaging the group thread. But we're not going to rush this yes or no because I think this is worth talking about. Stevie, we'll have you go first. Yes or no for Ralph Breaks the Internet?
Okay, I will give this a yes. And I'll say this, you know me, Wreck-It Ralph is one of my favorite Disney movies ever made. I watched that movie
you
quite
collect the
bit.
pins.
I collect the pins at Disney World. I do, anywhere I can find them.
Don't understand.
But I don't think this quite measured up to the first one. And I think this movie's one saving grace, and I'm like a music fanatic, was Vanellope's Slaughter Race song.
Oh, we didn't even mention that.
I know. It reminded me a lot of La La Land. And it was just, I don't know, it's a very fun song. I thought it was really well done.
My heart's in flight and wow, it's a blast. Feels like my dreams are real at last.
No trace of a frown upon your face.
Flying so fast.
Setting the pace.
Living the life.
Loving the chase.
Now is the time.
Here is the place.
This water.
This movie is funny. It didn't carry the weight I think the first one did, which this movie, unfortunately, will be compared to the first one. And I just think that the first one was an all-around better movie structure-wise. This one was kind of all over the place, but I will give this movie a soft yes.
And I want to end on a positive note, so I'll go next. This is a no for me, and I know I'm in the minority here, but I just want to kind of explain myself. One, my least favorite thing in film is like the reference-based comedy, especially like real-world reference-based comedy. I'm not saying it's not funny. It just doesn't make me laugh. It's just my brain just doesn't click with that. And I feel like that's a lot of this is, I know that Google, I know that Twitter. Oh, it's an Instagram. Like it's an e-boy. Like I don't know. That's doing this Disney project and seeing what the high levels of art that Disney is capable of in something like a Bambi or a Pinocchio or a Fantasia, and then we're reducing it to this meta commentary. It really just rubs me the wrong way, and it feels a little and I don't know, patting yourself on the back a little bit too much. But I did have some good times. I did lower my rating down to 2 stars. I just don't want this. I just don't want the studio to become this. And why Princess Leia didn't walk into the room full of princesses, it feels like a missed opportunity to me. But I digress. Let's end on a positive note. Pixie Bomber, Renee, person with boobs on the podcast, friend of the pod, what do you give Ralph Breaks the Internet?
So I'm kind of glad that Princess Leia did not walk into that room because, well, all of the princesses needed their own independence and they worked together and it was pure joy for me. But that first original film was a definite yes for me, and this one was not that hard yes. Friendship was the backbone of that first film, and while this film shows the letting go of friendship and that growiness to it, they made like some serious references to that 6 years throughout the film, and it fills in that gap in space. But it really got old to me. And sequels are always hard to follow up with a strong original. The separate timelines or separate stories were hard to follow in the timeline. And some of it was a little bit too much at times. So, I don't know. My boobs are a little soft on this. So I'm going to give it a soft yes.
Well done. That's a standing ovation from the Twitters, or from the Spoilers in-house audience. That's a good point too. One other thing I want to say quickly is when Bob Iger came into power, Stevie and I talk about this a lot. One, he had to start looking externally because of intellectual property laws were going to expire, and then they probably knew they couldn't renew it again. And so he went on this quest to acquire properties. But he also laid the hammer down and said, no more sequels. We're going to stop doing sequels. And that kind of...
And Home on the Range.
And that kind of ushered in the golden age of Disney, like his Iron Fist, we're going to create new intellectual properties that we can sell for the next 75 years to kids. And to I think this is a little bit of a step back, and it makes me so nervous for like Frozen 2. And are we going to have to deal with 5 more years of rehashing what we've already done? But Pixie Bomber, you were great on the podcast. That was sometimes with awesome. A guest I get nervous and it doesn't go well, and that went freaking awesome. I think. Did you have fun? Did you like it?
I had fun. Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Nice.
Well, yeah, you're welcome back anytime.
I'm
Thank
glad
you so
guys
much.
didn't put me in a corner.
You don't have to be on movies for people with boobs. You can be on any movie you want. You have an open invitation to spoilers.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, Stevie, I guess we should sign off and take it away. Spoiler Man, we got to run.
Sounds good to me.
Take it away, Spoiler Man.
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is Podcast Spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song. Our spoilers hotline is 903-776-4507. That's 903-SPOIL07. Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. To do this, 1. Search for movie spoilers. 2. Click on our orange Spoilers Bowl logo and scroll all the way to the bottom. 3. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes.
That was Spoilers.